Begotten
is a 1989 film that's completely black and white. And I'm pretty sure there was not a single spoken word in this film. It's just filled with guttural noises and weird music. So this should be really fun. Once again, 1989, directed by Elias Merhige. I don't know what it is with directors having goofy ass names, but there you go. That's who directed this film. And this is not really supposed to be extreme, but it's supposed to be extremely disturbing, okay? It's supposed to be really weird, and it's 78 minutes long, so if there's no spoken words and it's just filled with a bunch of really strange noises and visuals, I'm probably going to be put into some weird trance state of being disturbed. And this film was said to be one of the 10 most important films of modern times. Thank you, Susan. I don't know when that quote was taken, so I don't know if she meant modern times in the 80s or modern times now, but at some point, people thought this was an important film to watch. So, the only thing I know about this movie is that it's about God dying, because he's on the front cover. Doesn't that look like Jesus? Yeah, so it's about him dying and then what the world looks like afterward. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'll let you know when me and Gerald come back from watching it. But before I do that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't foresee that happening, but that would be amazing if it could happen, so help me get there. We're at 4,240 subscribers right now, so please subscribe. Tell your family, tell your dog, get them to subscribe to my channel. I'm begging you. So now that you have subscribed and checked out and watched every other video in my entire catalog on my channel, me and Gerald here are gonna go ahead and watch Jesus Christ die. And we'll be right back to let you know what happens in Begotten. All right, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have no idea what I just witnessed. It's not like, oh, that was so baffling that, like, oh, I can't even process. Like, I physically could not understand what I was looking at the entire time. This is either going to be very entertaining for me trying to describe what I'm seeing, or extremely boring. First off, Susan, I don't know what the hell you were on, because this is not one of the 10 most important films of modern times. No one, I guarantee you, if you didn't tell people what this movie's about, and you sat them down and you showed this to them, they would not have a single clue what they were watching, okay? They wouldn't know. No one would know. I guarantee you no one on the planet would know what this movie is the first time they watch it, okay? This has to be studied frame by frame in order to even comprehend what you're seeing, because not only is it black and white, all right? We know that. It's black and white. There's no words at all. It's just a bunch of nature sounds with frogs and crickets and birds chirping, all right? That is the only audio. Occasionally some people like choking and stuff, but that's it, all right? Not only is it black and white, but they also took the contrast and just jacked it up to like 3,000%. So the blacks are as black as you can possibly make them, and the whites are as blinding as they can possibly be, okay? So this movie almost hurts to look at, because it's just so... there's no gray in this movie at all. It's just solid black and solid white, and it's painful. Not only that, alright, but it also zooms in and zooms out on random things, and everybody's face is covered, and they're in weird terrain that you can't understand. So everything mixed together is just this giant soup of, like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Alright, okay? That is all this movie is, and it's... But even though I have no idea what anything that I just saw was, the end of the movie, which I have paused right now, it tells you exactly, scene by scene, what it was supposed to be. Alright, and I didn't look at that yet. Alright, I saw that that's what they're doing, and I paused it. And I'm going to be doing a normal review of me just trying to explain what happens, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to press play and see how close I get to what I think happened and what actually happened in the scenes, which they're not going to be anywhere near each other, and I think it's going to be hopefully kind of funny. So, starting off with the first scene, we have this very small cabin in the middle of the woods. Okay, very small. There's no door. I think it's like abandoned because there's no doors, and the windows, I don't think have any glass in them, so there's just these holes in the wall. It's very small, all right? And inside of this cabin, we have this big cloaked man sitting in a chair in the corner who's throwing up blood and violently shaking. That's the guy on the front of the cover, but he's sitting there and there's this weird background noise of it sounds like somebody just pooping in a toilet. It's just like it sounds like drops and it's echoing throughout the bathroom. I don't know why that is the background for this, because at first it kind of sounded like a little bit of like choking, but then I'm like, no, that just sounds like somebody taking a deuce in a toilet. So I don't know why that was the background music, but well, it's not music, it's just this weird ambient noise I don't know, it's weird. But the guy is literally just sitting in the corner of the cabin going... He's doing weird movements with his hands, okay? He's doing weird movements, he's throwing up blood, and then he's holding an object. I don't know what it is, because again, the contrast is so high that anything of close detail, you cannot tell, alright? You can see outlines of certain things, and that's it. So I don't know what he was holding, alright? I'm gonna assume it was a knife, because I'm pretty sure he cut his stomach open and pulled his intestines out and just threw it on the floor. I think. I don't know. I don't know if that's what happened. But after that, he stopped moving, and instead of going like... He looked a little bit more like... So he was kind of, he looked pretty dead. Whatever he just did, it killed him. Alright, so he killed himself. And so after he dies, it zooms in on his feet, and he violently shits himself. So, like, it zooms in on his toes, and you can just see, like, this stuff, like, rolling down his leg and onto his foot, and then it's playing the soundtrack of somebody like having violent diarrhea. And it is actually quite funny. I don't know why they added that, but everything in this movie is very long, very drawn out. So it's quite a long scene of him shitting himself and it going all over his foot. So this is God, by the way. I'm pretty sure. That's the only thing I know, that this is God, and he just God himself. So after he died and then had violent liquid diarrhea all over his feet, this woman emerged from behind the chair that he died in, and she was coming out and like grabbing her tits. All right, so she's got like this thing covering the top half of her face, and she just emerges. Just pretend I have tits, okay? And there's no sound of her at all, so she's just emerged, and then there's a scene of her just spinning in place while looking up at the sky doing that. So I really don't know what she was doing, okay? I don't know why she was grabbing herself, and I don't know why she was slowly rotating like she's, like, cooking in a hot dog stand in, like, Stewart's, okay? I don't know why she was doing that, but then afterwards, she goes over to God's dead body and whips his cock out, and we have another scene of blood spewing out of a cock, alright? This is the second movie in a row where we have a scene of that happening. I cannot believe... This out of every movie, I would not have thought that was going to be a scene. It was not nearly as bad as the one in Sacrifice or the one in Antichrist, but this, because of, the high contrast, you could only make out shapes, so I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but I'm almost 100% positive that's what happened. And I am I am in disbelief that was yet again another scene that happened. We have two in a row. If it happens in the next movie, I'm retiring. Okay, I'm quitting YouTube if another one of those scenes show up in the next movie. But in between scenes, there's a bunch of random images of just random stuff. It could just be like nature, it could be water. In this next case, it's a pregnant woman rubbing her belly and a coffin. All right, I don't know what those have to do with the movie at all. But the next scene after that is we have this diseased naked man who's very diseased, all right? His whole body is covered in this weird, gross stuff. I don't know what it is. It's not good, all right? But he's skinny, he's frail. It's like me if I was bald and completely just diseased in a ditch, all right? If they dug a hole and I was laying in it and I was just kind of going, that would be me. I don't know if it was God from the first scene. I don't know. I think it might be because he was doing the same weird movements, but he did just kill himself, and this guy is alive, so I don't know who this is or if it's the same guy or not, but I'm just gonna assume it's him because he's doing the same weird movements, except now he's diseased and now he's come back to life. He's alive. And then we are greeted with this tribe. They look like a mix between like Jawas and Tuscan Raiders, but like they look like zombie versions of them. All right, you don't see their faces, but they're in these weird cloaks, and they have all of these bone things like hanging around, and they have like these weird items. I don't know anything about this movie, so I'm gonna stop saying I don't know because that's a default. I have no idea what's going on. But they scoop up this diseased man, all right, who's completely naked once again, and we see everything, and he's flopping around. It's not a great sight. But they pick him up, they hoist ropes around him, and then they carry him up this mountain, and then lay him down, and it looks like he's throwing up his intestines, which I don't know what is going on. This is like a combination of all of the worst scenes from the past few movies that I've seen, all right? This guy's throwing up his intestines. All right, I think. There's these big things that keep protruding from his mouth. I'm pretty sure those are his intestines. I don't even know if they're shoving things in his mouth or if they're coming out of his throat. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know again. It's true, okay? And they look like they start beating him before they hoist him up to the very top of the mountain. And then they like set him down next to a fire, and they always stop. They lay him down and then just start like tickling him or something. They're not tickling him, but they might just be beating him or something. Something's happening. They're doing something to him, and now he's on top of a mountain instead of a ditch, okay? Okay, so I'm assuming it's the next day. Somehow, that diseased man, I think it's the same man, is by himself now. He's not with the tribe. He's not on top of the mountain, I don't think. And the woman from the beginning who was grabbing her tits and slowly rotating like a hot dog got this giant rope and wrapped it around this guy's neck like a noose, and then walked him like a dog through the woods, and then brought him to a different tribe, or maybe it's the same one. And they immediately take this giant staff and just bash his head in like 3 times with it, and he starts bleeding everywhere. I don't know how he's not dead, okay? Because if it's the same guy, he killed himself in the first scene. And then he was throwing up his intestines, hoisted up a mountain, and then he has a noose wrapped around his neck, dragged through the woods, and then bashed in the skull with a giant stick. I don't know how he's still alive, all right? If you're thinking you're having a bad day, this guy's got it worse. I promise you, it'll make you feel better. After that, they are like bashing his head, and he's bleeding everywhere, and he's fine. Well, he's definitely not fine, but he's alive, all right? Because he's still doing these weird movements. And then they knock the woman unconscious, and then they do horrible things, all right? Because first they take the man who they just bashed his skull in, still alive, and they start getting this giant stick and like poking his schlong with it, and like bashing him and stuff, and it's just like, why are we doing that? I don't know. What is your goal? What is happening? Who is this? Why are you doing this? And then they start doing the same thing to the woman. After they knock her out, they get this giant stick and just start smashing her cooch with it. Number one, horrible. Okay, both of those scenes were really bad, really very disturbing. The woman was way worse than the man, because they dragged it out for, I always exaggerate where it's like, oh, they dragged it out for like 15 minutes. It was actually a 10-minute scene. All right, there was some weird, it's just different camera angles, and it's just weird. All right, it's not like really gory because like nothing's really, it's just strange because she's unconscious and they have this giant stick with this giant ball thing wrapped in something around it, and they're just ramming it into her. And it's just weird, and I don't like seeing whatever they're doing. And it was legitimately like almost 10 minutes. I am willing to bet it was that long because they just kept going, and I don't know what was going on, but apparently now she's dead, which I don't know how getting smacked in the back of the head with the same staff killed her, but this other guy is still alive, and I don't know. Doesn't really make any sense. But after they apparently killed her and then were doing all that freaky stuff, they shoved her in a bag. and then like hung her up on the side of the mountain. And this part, and from this point on, I legitimately cannot even fully explain what I saw or what's happening or where they are or anything. Like, at least you kind of had a little bit of scenes and what was happening. I don't know what I was looking at. It was just a mushy mess of black and white, and I can't even comprehend if there were even like figures. All right, I don't know. But they have all of these bags. There's a lot of them. The same bags that they shoved this woman in, and they're like opening them, and I think they're like taking flesh out of them. So they're like flesh bags that are attached to the side of the mountain. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I am comprehending and what I am seeing. And this movie is literally like if somebody somehow took a video of somebody's dream and then just uploaded it onto a disc and then sent it off to the world. Like, this is literally the closest thing to a dream that you can make on film. I'm not even kidding. It's so strange, but they're taking flesh out of these bags, and then they're taking giant staffs and they're like smushing up the intestines. I feel like they're in different like attire every time, because this is like their little base and there's like water around it. It's very long, and I don't know what they're doing the entire time, but there's a lot of these bags, and I think they're flesh bags. I'm pretty sure there's bodies in all of them, and they're taking intestines out and like smushing them up with sticks. That's what I saw. That's what I think happened. And then the next scene, the diseased guy has somehow escaped again. All right, I don't know how he keeps getting away. He can barely even move. But he is crawling in the middle of a desert. All right, it looks like either a desert or the moon. And I'm assuming they didn't fly to the moon to get footage of it, so I'm just going to say it's a desert. And he's just in the middle of the desert trying to crawl away. And they are literally Tusken Raiders, because now they're in the desert, all right? And they have giant staffs just like them, and they have these cloaks. I mean, it's the 80s, so they probably took inspiration, and they're running. And I think they caught him, and they put him in a bag, and then they pulled out the biggest Looney Tunes hammer you have ever seen, and just start beating him with it in the bag. They, like, hit him with this giant hammer that they pulled out of their ass, and then just hit him with it like 3 times until he stopped moving. And then I think they hung him up and took intestines out and started smushing them, and I'm pretty sure he's dead now. And guess what? That's it. That's it. Those are the only things I could comprehend out of this movie. It was 78 minutes long. It was 78 minutes long, and I have this much. You see that? Kind of, maybe you might be able to, I can't see, but that's what I saw. That is what I was gone for 78 minutes, and that's what I saw, scene by scene, everything, because they're so long and so drawn out. It's just me staring, and I'm gonna have wrinkles from me knitting my eyebrows so much, because the entire time I was just sitting there like, now that I've explained the entire movie to you, let's go ahead and see what actually happened in the movie. Let's roll it, shall we? Order of appearance. Let's see. Scene 1 was God killing himself. So that doesn't count. All right, I already knew that. That was the only thing I knew about this movie, was the opening scene. I did not know about anything else, and I still don't know about anything else. So the first scene of the guy in the chair spazzing and throwing up blood and cutting his intestines off was God killing himself. Alright, what's next? Scene 2 was Mother Earth. So I'm assuming the woman who was grabbing her tits and, stroking God's cock was Mother Earth. I mean, obviously, how did I should have known. The third scene is Son of Earth, Flesh and Bone. So the diseased man in a ditch is not God. It's the Son of Earth. Did you see that? My neuro activation in real time? Because the pregnant woman rubbing her belly, who I did mention, was Mother Earth. Oh, wait a minute. When God's corpse projected blood out of his cock, it did land on Mother Earth's stomach. All right, just landed on her stomach, and then she started rubbing it into her skin, which I decided to keep out of the video because I didn't really think that mattered, but it does apparently, because because that was Mother Earth and God, and then the next scene she was pregnant, and then she had a kid, but the kid is a full-grown man who's completely naked and diseased in a ditch, who is the son of Earth. Flesh on bone, I don't know what that means, but that actually makes more sense now. Oh my god. Oh, wait, she did rub it around, and then she was doing that, which I also decided to leave out of the video, but that's how the blood from God's cock went inside of her, because she literally took it in her hands and put it inside of her. Oh, that makes so much more sense. Aren't you so glad that I'm putting this all together and I'm sharing this information with you? And then the next thing it says is all other life provided by, and then it lists a bunch of names. Which I don't know why it matters, because you can't even tell that they're human beings in the movie. Like, their faces are not uncovered, so I don't know why you're even... Okay. Is that it? Alright, so that's it. That is... I thought they were going to go, like, scene by scene, but they didn't. They just kind of explained a little bit to me, but not anything else, which just not... That... You know what? I'm gonna look it up. That was not enough information. Alright, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, which is the last thing I should be doing, but I'm gonna do it anyway for the meme. Alright, chat, what do you think? At the beginning, featuring God killing himself, Mother Earth emerges and becomes pregnant. Yeah, we know about that part. The son wanders through a bleak landscape where he suffers, is captured by mysterious robed figures, tortured, and ultimately dies. Well, I got that part. He was not wandering now, okay? This man can't move. Alright, they birthed... controversial, but they birthed a crippled son. Okay, that man was not okay. I don't know why. He was definitely diseased, and he couldn't move because he was just seizing the entire movie. So I don't know what they're talking about by wander. He was in a ditch. His death and return of his body to the earth suggests that death leads to new life, continuing the cycle of creation and destruction. What does it mean? The endless cycle of creation, death, and rebirth. Humanity's relationship with nature. Suffering is a part of the experience. The death of old gods or old beliefs, making way for new life. Alright, so it looks like I'm not gonna get an explanation of scene by scene, and you know what? I'm fine with that. This movie was not good. Okay, I don't recommend watching this unless you are really into, like, artistic stuff, but even then, I don't know how you find artisticness out of this, because you can't even see what's going on. Alright, I mean, this was very strange. I did not gain anything out of seeing this, and I don't think I really lost anything out of seeing this, honestly, besides 78 minutes of my life, but I was gonna watch it anyway, so, I don't know. Gerald, what's your gore score, buddy? Yeah, there was actually a surprising amount of gore in this movie, but it really was not, that was not the focal point of this. But there definitely was more graphic things in this movie than I thought there was going to be. I thought it was just going to be really disturbing and kind of uncanny and dystopian, which it is. It is all of those things, but not as much as I thought. It's just kind of me trying to figure out what's going on, as opposed to being like, ooh, that's creepy. It's like, ooh, I need to figure out what this is before I can determine whether or not it's creepy, and then usually I just don't figure it out. So now we can reach into Gerald's skull and pull out the small version of Begotten. I love the name of this movie, and I do love the front of it. I'm gonna love making a thumbnail for this, hopefully, because I've been wanting to see it just because of this opening scene, because I thought it was gonna be really disturbing and stuff, and I mean, I guess it kind of is. Let's get the Board of Extremity out and rank it now, shall we? Alright, yes sir. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, so Begotten, the cord's in the way. I need to see my face. The cord is now moved and Begotten is now here. I finally watched this movie. I will never see it again because there is no point in me seeing this. And here we have Begotten, the small version. Yes. Now, where do I think Begotten is going to go. The 1989 black and white film that has full contrast and has no idea what's going on the entire time. Where is Begotten gonna go on the board of extremity number 18? Drum roll, please, because I already know I made my decision. In 3, in 2, in 1. Bang! Yes! Yes! That's a yellow, my friends. That is a yellow. It kind of looks a little green. That's not green. That is supposed to be yellow. This would be green. This is yellow, I promise. So, we've got yellow. This is gonna go low end. It's uncomfy. Yeah. Yes, sir. Now, if you're new here, even though I did just rank it, these are the rankings. All right, I'm gonna pull this in a little bit. Down here we have Barely Extreme, which is green. And the only movie in that is Devil Woman Doctor or Devil Doctor Woman, depending on what title you want it to be. It's both of them at the same time. So yeah, that's the only one in Barely Extreme. That's low end Barely Extreme. Number 2 is White, which is not terrible. All right, and the only movies in that are high end. It's not terrible. All Hallows Eve and The Human Centipede. All right, those are the only 2 movies in that little section there. And then number 3, we have It's Uncomfy, which is yellow, which is what we just determined this movie was. Low end, we have Devil's Experiment, He Never Dies, Android of Notre Dame, and Begotten, the movie we just went over, our most entertaining movie we've ever seen in our life. All right, high end, It's Uncomfy. We have Flower, Flesh, and Blood, Christmas Cruelty, Mermaid in a Manhole, and Laid to Rest. All right, then we have That's Pretty Bad, which is stage 4, and that is Orange. And low end, we have The Bunny Game, Antichrist, and The Song of Solomon. High end, That's Pretty Bad, we have Bouquet of Guts and Gore and Bloodshock. And then number 5, we have Scarring, which is red. And we have one movie in here, which is low end, and that would be Sacrifice, the last video I made. All right, that was episode number 17. So go check that one out. That was horrible to watch. And yeah, you can see it up there. The most bad out of every movie this season is 29 Needles. That was episode number 12. If you want to go check that out, I'm not talking about that movie. So you can go check it out for yourself, and then you can, play the horrors of that movie in your head. And I left a lot of the worst parts out of it because I didn't even want to say them out loud. So, so that's the most bad movie, and that is all of the other movies that I have ranked. So there you go. Begotten, once again, low end, It's Uncomfy. Why, you may ask? Why would you put it there? Because there are some disturbing things, all right? The first scene, even though he does, violently hit himself and it was kind of funny, it's kind of weird, all right? It's weird. It makes you uncomfortable. All right, this movie isn't really extreme. It's just very disturbing, and it's weird. All right, and also there's quite a bit of nudity. All right, the first scene with Mother Nature getting pregnant, it's kind of it's pretty excessive, even though you can't really see most of it. And then when they're just getting beat while they're naked is just kind of, it's not great to look at. And there is some good gore, and there's a lot of shots where the son of Earth on the floor, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so, it's like you feel so bad for him because he can't move, he can't really do anything, and he's just getting beat by these zombified Tuscan Raiders, which I don't know, it's sad. He goes through so much, and them beating his head in with a giant stick, that part's kind of brutal. Them beating him with a Looney Tunes hammer in a bag is actually kind of funny, though, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, there are some disturbing things in here, which is why it would be above All Hallows Eve and The Human Centipede, because the visuals in this movie exceed those ones, but not by a lot, I'd say. It's definitely not in the realm of Laid to Rest, Mermaid in a Manhole, Christmas Cruelty, and Flower, Flesh, and Blood. Definitely would not put it in there, but it's definitely uncomfortable to watch. All right, so that's why I think it would be It's Uncomfy and not terrible. All right, so there you go. Begotten. I am so sorry if you're watching this video. That was probably the worst video I've ever made, and I'm not kidding. That was probably so uneventful and so stupid and so not entertaining, and I tried my best, okay? And I don't know what else I could have really done because I just don't. There was almost nothing for me to go by, so I'm sorry if you did not have fun. You waited an entire week for a video to come out, and now you're disappointed with whatever the hell this was. And I'm sorry. Alright, I'm sorry I tried. But now that you're here at the end of the video, Gerald here has got a nice little pin for you. We'll see if what he says is appropriate today or not. Okay. Alright, that's actually pretty good. If okay. If you comment down below Stuart's hot dog, then you'll be pinned to the top of the comment section. That's your pin. First person to comment down Stuart's hot dog is going to be pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you, Mother Nature. A tip for the road: don't beat off God after he kills himself in a cabin in the woods. Okay? Don't do that unless you want to birth the son of Earth and then have him get beat to death with a Looney Tunes hammer.